Hello friends. Papua New Guinea is a country located in Oceania, with an area of about 462,840 square kilometers, with a population of more than 9 million people. This national territory includes the eastern half of the island of New Guinea and several small islands. And the other half of the west belongs to Indonesia, in Southeast Asia. So why share an island, but one country is in Asia, the other is in Oceania? To understand this, let's briefly recap the history of Papua New Guinea. In the 17th century, the Dutch East India Company reached the island of New Guinea, and controlled it for more than a century. However, they only paid attention to the coastal areas to establish ports and trade spices. It was not until 1828 that they became really interested in establishing a colony, and claimed the western half of the island of New Guinea, up to the 141st meridian. In 1884, the eastern half was claimed by the British and the Germans. To avoid conflict, in 1895, Britain and the Netherlands signed a treaty to delimit the boundary, running along the 141st meridian. Therefore, the border between the islands is very straight. There is only one location that looks like a mouse bite, because it uses the Upper Fly River as the boundary. In 1902, British New Guinea was transferred to Australia. At that time, it was an autonomous country of Great Britain. After World War I, Germany lost the battle and was stripped of its colonies. The portion of territory they controlled was transferred to Australia and remains owned by the United Kingdom. In 1949, the two eastern territories were merged with the name, the Territory of Papua and New Guinea. At the same time, Indonesia gained independence from the Netherlands. But Western New Guinea is still part of the Netherlands. So the struggle continued until 1963, when Western New Guinea was returned to Indonesia. To the east of the island, the territory was renamed Papua New Guinea in 1972. At this point, control of the island did not offer much strategic benefit to Australia, while the locals are yearning for an independence. So the Australian Prime Minister and the island's leader worked together to work towards decolonization. In 1975, Papua New Guinea was granted independence without bloodshed. Good Australians then still live peacefully and help this nation by aiding every year hundreds of millions of dollars to this day. Geographically, the entire island of New Guinea belongs to the Australian continental plate. However, that is not the criterion to consider it to be in Oceania. Because the west of the island belongs to Indonesia, it is still classified as Asia. The classification of Papua New Guinea in Australia, largely because of its history, has many similarities with the countries of this continent. Especially the close relationship with Australia, in defense, economic and political issues. Well, learning about history like that is probably difficult enough for everyone to understand. Now we will learn something special and interesting about Papua New Guinea. Tropical forests cover about 70% of the country's area and are the third largest in the world, after the Amazon and Congo. Therefore, the flora and fauna in Papua New Guinea is extremely rich. Some characteristic types are known as marsupials such as kangaroos, koalas, catbags, copper skin. In addition, the national animal is the bird of paradise, one of the most beautiful birds in the world. They are printed on the flag of this country. Not only are there diverse flora and fauna, but the people of Papua New Guinea are equally diverse. They have more than 850 languages and 1,000 different cultures. In it, there are many tribes with a slightly monstrous culture. The most fearsome are the 5 cannibal tribes, Dani, Yali, Asmat, Korowai, and Kombai. They used to frighten British soldiers every time they entered the forest. Most recently, 29 members of the Korowai tribe were accused of cannibalism in 2012. They believe it will help them possess supernatural powers and be bulletproof. In some regions, there is a ritual to celebrate the boys who have grown up. They carve on their backs artworks depicting sea creatures, especially crocodiles. The culture of this country values crocodiles because they believe they come from the Sepik River and will eventually transform into humans. And yet, the lifestyle of the Papua New Guineans is quite wild. According to a 2013 study conducted by The Lancet, 27% of men living on the island said they had ever raped a woman who was not their sexual partner. UNICEF also reports that nearly half of rape victims are under the age of 15. In addition, the practice of black magic is still popular in many parts of the country. Many women were branded as witches and killed. About 50 to 150 women are killed for allegedly being witches each year. In Papua New Guinea, there are only about 100,000 motor vehicles. But they have 451 airports. and travel long distances mainly by plane. Really cool. The country is rich in natural resources such as oil, gold and metal ores. However, the exploitation is still limited, due to the rugged mountainous terrain and lack of infrastructure development costs. And sometimes, it is not possible to find the Aboriginal man to negotiate for land and resources. If possible, they will become one of the leading countries in gold and/or mining. GDP in 2019 was $24.97 billion. In which, exports accounted for 47%. The main export items are oil, minerals and agricultural, forestry and fishery products. GDP at purchasing power parity averaged $4,548, on par with Cambodia. About 80% of the population live in rural areas and work in agriculture. 35% of people over 15 years old are illiterate. In general, Papua New Guinea still has many undeveloped aspects. Video ends here. Thank you all for watching and liking it. If you find the video useful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to support us. Goodbye and see you again.